Wow, so many recordings, so little time. There's so many things that are just, I've got a lot to say, but it's very difficult trying to get all of this down onto videos. But big up to everybody tuning in. Now, obviously, you can see the thumbnail, the last one standing, Virgil van Dijk. It looks like Alisson, I've seen the news, he might potentially be leaving Liverpool in the summer. It's not confirmed or anything like Salah, like Robertson, who will both be leaving the club after their great years of service at the football club. Yeah, is this an end of an era? I think that's kind of my question, man. Is it, well, it's not even is it, because it is the end of an era anyway. I mean, so many of those players have just kind of left, the ones who won the first Premier League, for Liverpool. And I think we've reached a stage now. It's the old Batman quote. I think I got to always bring it up, because ultimately you don't want to stay so long that you do become the villain. You don't want to be somewhere for too long where people now, we start doing what we do to Salah, which is shouldn't be playing, he's not good enough. And, you start then berating him on a weekly basis kind of thing. And not even necessarily forget, because I don't think it's a case of people forget what a player has done for the club. I don't think you ever forget. I just think that the reality is we all live in the moment. We live in a space and we live in a time now where football is in the moment. Are you good for me now? What have you done for me lately? It's that type of vibe, right? So when people obviously berate Salah, and some people getting onto Virgil at times for, I guess, not being a great leader, which I've questioned a fair few times. Alisson doesn't really look like he's able to even just stay fit, and when he is fit, does he look that great? But again, we're judging them by their previous standards. We're judging them by standards they obviously set, when they reach their peak. And unfortunately for them this season, it just looks like that standard has just dropped. And I think the major thing for Liverpool is that, because all of them it's kind of like at the same time, they've all kind of, dropped a bit of a level, including Virgil van Dijk, in my opinion. They've all kind of dropped a bit. So where they've all dropped a bit at the same time, it doesn't then help moving forward. I mean, it definitely don't help the manager. Have your top goal scorer from last season moving mad. Have your defender at the back looking like he doesn't know how to organize a defense. Have your goalkeeper looking like, eesh, yeah, I don't know. First of all, I can't even stay fit. First and foremost. Secondly, when I am fit, it's a bit peak when I get the ball. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it looks a bit shaky. Don't give him the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? If you do, you need to make sure you got players around him. Otherwise, it looks a bit mad. Robertson. Robertson might be well, I mean, just not really played that much. But again, your competition was Kirkez, who I still think is a bit shaky. Don't trust him yet anyway, but that could potentially change, in the future. And I just think, with everything that's obviously happened just throughout the season, this is obviously something else that's then been compiled into everything. You can't blame the manager for that. This isn't, and I don't think people are, to be fair. So I'm going to give people the benefit of that. But I don't, you can't blame the manager for all of those players not, not playing at their required level to make Liverpool a really, really good team. That's not a manager issue. That's just a player issue, So it's just one of those kind of things. And with that, you then look to, you kind of then look to the future. What does the future look like? How does that look for Liverpool moving forward? Obviously, I know Liverpool have signed Jeremy Jacquet. I'm not saying he's going to come in and displace Virgil. It's definitely not going to be that. But it's just interesting, you go out and get him. You got Leone as well, two young centre backs, equal amount of experience. I would probably say. I don't feel like it's one of them is really advanced. Obviously, Leone's been out for basically the entirety of the season. He's only played that first game and then, got himself injured. Jacquet got himself injured just after signing for Liverpool. Don't know how long he's going to be out for, but again, need to wait for him to kind of come back. We've got Joe Gomez, of course, still at the football club, but we all know with him, then he get injured the other day. Like, it's just that defense, as much as you guys have heard me talk about the midfield being a really pivotal position, the defense definitely needs some work. Who you get in there, I don't know. But I think what this video and what I was more talking about isn't necessarily, forget even just, in terms of like looking at the players, we can forget about that because we don't know. We have to wait until the summer. I don't really know what market Liverpool can shop in with the type of players, that they may look to potentially sign. So that might be a difficult one. But I think it's just more about, what does it look like? One thing Liverpool are not good at, and they have never been good at it. Well, Yeah, no, I don't think we've ever been good at it. To be honest with you, is Liverpool are not good at having. I was going to say a contingency plan, but no, that's just more in case of an emergency. Liverpool are just not good at having plans moving forward. So Liverpool can't seem to have good things or have good players, for example, and be able to still say, for example, you've got Mo Salah. Obviously, this is where you have to manage things well and stuff like that. But we'll use Mo Salah as an example. You got a Mo Salah. Who comes in for Mo Salah? Not one person has ever. I mean, Shakiri, I think, for a little while, kind of thing. Frimpong at times this season, but that's just more, just of course, just down to the poor form. We never really had anybody. We've had your Ben Dokes and stuff, but people don't really want to give him a chance, and this then creates this kind of mold of now you really need to go out there and really sign someone of a really, really high level. I know people talk about Diamonde and stuff like that. Not really too sure about him, but whatever. Like you just need to go out there and now sign top quality, because if you don't, bit tricky because you don't have that other player there. We don't. Unfortunately, we've got Rio on the other side. To obviously if Gakpo were to leave and stuff like that, but you have no one on that right side. Now you really have to go out there and try and sign someone of that kind of quality. But when you go and do that, do you then also sign a backup to that player, or do you just say we're just going to sign you and leave it at that, or do you sign someone who can potentially play across the front lines like Barcola as an example, so that he can play as a right winger, but also as a left winger, also through the middle. Yeah, a lot of questions have to be kind of answered. You look at the goalkeeping situation, Mamadashvili, people are not 100% on him. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, I honestly could not tell you of any other goalkeeper that I'll be like, you got to go and get this guy. I'd really have to I'd have to get back into my scouting bag to really try and figure that one out. Like, right, who's a good goalkeeper that you can go out there and sign? Don't really know. Do you get what I'm saying? Left backs, I've said Liverpool should have got a different left back, but they got Kirkes. Again, I'm looking at in the summer, I'm like, well, Liverpool have to go out and sign another left back. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't trust Kirkes. So I need another left back to at least allow me to feel comfortable that if a Kirkes was to come in, it's only because X, Y, and Z is not playing. Do you get what I'm saying? So again, that's another position you're gonna have to try and sort out. But it's just Liverpool don't ever seem to look towards the future. When it's dire. Liverpool needed a new midfield. Guess what? We're just gonna go and buy the entire midfield in one transfer window, and we're gonna let go of that entire midfield in one go as well. Where was the contingency plans? Where was the okay? We're gonna buy this player, and that where was the we've got Fernandinho, but we're gonna get Rodri in, and we're gonna bed him in. Where was that kind of that kind of thing? And sometimes I just look at it and think you can do it for some players and some positions. Of course you can. Look what Manchester City did with Sergio Aguero. Aguero leaves, you have to go out and sign someone because of the level of player that you're talking about. You go in and get basically the best striker on the planet, at that moment in time, no problem. So maybe with the Mo Salah situation, maybe that might be something they might potentially be looking at. But I'm just looking at the rest of it and I'm thinking, you really have left yourselves a bit in a lurch here, man. You really have. And again, you're going to kind of need to have a somewhat big summer. But then you're talking about letting players go because this period now is going to be like officially for me, this is a transition period now. Like now I'm like, okay, now Liverpool are in some kind of transition. I don't expect a title challenge. That will massively surprise me if they are in one next season. So yeah, I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, well, all the old guard are gone. You've not really got any real experience within the team in itself, which is not a good thing. Obviously, Virgil will obviously be there, but that's about it. You need other players. And I feel like if you're supposed to be a team of the level that a Liverpool are trying to be or apparently are, that's not good enough. You should have quite a few players within your team who know what it takes to do what needs to be kind of done. And we haven't really got that in the team. Yes, there are players obviously who won the Premier League last season. Are they good players? Nah, not really. I'm talking about those players that we can really turn to. Can you really look at McAllister? Can you really look at Zabozalai? Can you really look at, Gravenberch? Can you really look at a Cody Gakpo? Can you look at these guys and say, yeah, I trust we can go to war with these kind of guys? I don't think many of you do, if any. Do you get what I'm saying? And when you look at other teams, and again, I'm going to use Manchester City, they can look at Bernardo Silva, a Rodri, a Erling Haaland, a Ruben Diaz, a John Stones. They can look at all of these Nathan Ake's. These are people who don't even play, But they can look at these guys because these guys are winners and have been winners with that same team, same manager for the last few seasons. Guess what? They still had to go out there and sign a Kushner. They still went out there and signed a Mark Gay. They still went to go and get a Semenyo. They still go and sign players. You know why? Because we can't rely on these guys forever. We can't. It's not how it works. It's not how you move forward and progress as a football club. Unfortunately, I don't feel like Liverpool are really good at doing that. And that should be a massive worry to Liverpool fans. It should be a really, really big worry because either you're just going to look at it and think, it's all right, we'll just spend kind of 2, 3, 4 years in the, not wilderness, but just, 'cause I still expect Liverpool to make Champions League next season, but it's maybe a top 4, if we're lucky, top 5, in the next couple of seasons while the team kind of builds and etc. etc. Even though you spent over 100 M's for Florian Wirtz, over 100 M's for Alexander Isak, you spent all 70 odd mil for an Ekatike, and you still need to spend more money to be able to replace the players who may leave. It's poor planning. And I understand Liverpool direct didn't have one for a little while and stuff like that. I get all of that. But just as a club as big as Liverpool, I just feel that you should be operating at a better kind of platform, moving forward. We shouldn't now be looking at it thinking, yeah, in this summer, we're going to do this. That's too much. It's too much, man. Like having all of these players that you're trying to replace in one fell swoop, it's just too much. In my personal opinion, I just feel I don't see winners do that. I don't see champions do that. They do one here, one there. Old school Manchester United, you sign a couple players in the summer, if that kind of thing. But it's really you're keeping the nucleus of the squad. When this player gets old, Sir Alex Ferguson was probably one of the best at doing that. Player gets a bit too old, he's out of there. Liverpool and the fans, yeah, you want to keep these guys till like 40 and that. I'm like, nah, man. Once we've got use out of you, get out. Bye. Thank you, but bye. Do you get what I'm saying? Forget the loyalty. No, we're not doing that, man. I'm trying to win. And again, people say they want to win, but they're not really with the winning thing. It doesn't come at all costs. And unfortunately, in this business and in this nature, if you want to be the big dogs, that's what you've got to do. And until Liverpool decide to move and behave in that kind of way, it ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you now, it won't happen. I'm gonna keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it. I'm gonna come back to this in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, when I'm a millionaire. We're gonna come back to it and be like, bro, you know what? I hear it. Because unless football takes a dramatic turn and now the principles of being winners, the principles of being the best suddenly changes, then fair enough. Then I'll delete this video. In the next 5, 10 years, I'll delete this video. But I don't really see that happening. So this is why I say for Liverpool, yes, it's cool. It's the end of an era. I got no problem. They can all go. That's not really, I don't care about all of that. My issue is that because they're all going at the same time, now you have to replace all of them. Like you can't even just say, yeah, let me just do one now. Let me do the next one after the next one after that, the next one after that, the next one after that. It's all kind of going all at once. And now we're talking about Liverpool need to go out and sign a winger. Now we're talking about Liverpool may need to get a new goalkeeper because Mehmet Ashvili is apparently just not good enough. Now Liverpool might need to look at getting another centre back in. Now Liverpool are potentially looking at maybe getting another left back in. Does Tsimikas stay? We don't really know. We have to kind of wait. And bro, that's too many questions, bro. Like the only time that these kind of questions I would make more sense is maybe the goalkeeping situation. That's probably the only one where I'm like, okay, that's fairs though, because you got to see you brought in that goalkeeper who may potentially take over an alley. People are not really messing with him. Fair enough. And listen, everyone each to their own. I don't mind him too tough. I don't think he's that bad, but I understand why people, get onto him and stuff like that. That's not a problem. But you got to see that. We ain't really seen it anywhere else. So now we're like, ooh, I don't really know. Like, how's it going to work next season? Is this manager going to stay? Does that change if the manager... There's so many questions with Liverpool, man. So I ask you guys in the comment section, what does the future hold for Liverpool? How does this kind of change? Are we optimistic about anything next season? I'll keep it a buck. I don't mind call me the negative Nelly. Call me negative Nelly from now on. I don't mind that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I just feel that if we don't have these real conversations, then what's the point? Do you get what I'm saying? You're still going to tune in to watch the game on 3 p.m. on a Saturday anyway. Might as well have a real conversation whilst we're doing so. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people, about Liverpool and the future of the football club. And I'll catch you guys real soon. Peace.